in the business. There's no competition. We're friends. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to, there's plenty of people in the world. I'm not taking customers from anybody. I hope you don't take customers from me. Let's just, let's bank off of each other. Let's work with each other instead of against each other. Let's all help each other out. It's a huge detail family. I don't see, I don't see how people get so worked up over like, I want to be the best detail. Like everybody wants to be the best, but do you have what it takes to be the best? Are you that kind of person that's going to be the best person for being the best detailer? Are you cool with all the other detailers in town, or do you just want to go past everybody and leave everybody in the dirt and be like, oh, you guys were trash anyway. Like, I don't care about other detailers. Like, man, let's all be friends.
Hey guys, you are listening to the Detail Spot podcast, and in this episode, we talk all about the journey of owning your own detailing business, the struggles that come with it, and how you can overcome those struggles. We talk about how to, work and operate with employees, and how that can be, an added stress as well, but how you can overcome that stress and how you can get there and how you can grow your detailing business to a level that you really didn't think was imaginable. We have Eric with Lumberjack Auto Detailing on this episode, and he tells us all about his journey, how he got into this trade, how he started, and now how he's in pretty much a dream detail studio and how he got there and some of the things that he did along the way. So I hope you enjoy, because I know I enjoyed hanging out with Eric, and I know you will as well. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, if you can, leave us a review if you're enjoying the content that's coming from this podcast. It greatly helps the channel grow, and let's dive in. So how long have you been detailing as a whole? Like, how long have you been detailing, and then how long has your business been operating?
So I started in 2007. We started the business in 2019. We started doing like side jobs in 2014. I was working at a dealership, just working used car, clean up, stuff like that. And then I don't know, man, everyone's paycheck seems bigger than mine. So I just kind of decided, I was like, yeah, I got to do something different. I love cleaning cars. I mean, it's one of the first things I got into. And I'm the route, like, it's just like any other like profession. If you want to take it to the fullest, you can, but you don't necessarily have to. You can, there's so many different kind of detailers. Like you got like you got your weekend detailers, you got your enthusiasts, you got your beginners, you got your professionals, you got like dudes that have been in the industry for decades. And it just kind of depends on what you want. If you want to be a professional, you definitely got to work for it, because there's so many tricks of the trade that you can learn. Like you can make what looks like such a hard detail, you can make it so easy once you get in the groove of things and you figure out what best works for you, what products work, anything. Like the wife and I, my wife's been detailing with me for about 7 years now. And her and I are the ones that opened up the Lumberjack detailing. And, her and I we're fluid together. Like she knows what she has to do. I know what I have to do. So it's kind of like tandem, where hitting things, and we just don't have to worry about, did you get this, or did you get that? Did you forget this? Did I forget that? It's like we kind of mesh well together and kind of, get things done quicker, rather than depending on somebody else to get the job done that you're working with, that, you guys really don't know each other's style.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of detailers start in like that dealership field, but like, I like what you were saying about how there's different levels, and that's completely fine. It's like up to you, your personal goals. Like, hey, if you want to go that express route, there's a market for car washing and going that direction. Or if you want to do, PPF, ceramic coatings, you can go that more professional luxury route. It's all like dependent on you. There's a market for it, and there's money in every single one of those markets. But yeah, definitely what you're saying about like having someone work with you. I had my brother with me, and like he's kind of like he was kind of like my go-to tandem partner. Like when we show up, we'd be like, hey, you're going to bust out this, I'm going to bust out this. our goal is to be done in 2 hours where it would normally take me 4 or 5 with another person, and it's so key to work with somebody that is like knows what to hit, and you just don't have to tell or talk to them about it. Like, and they
Yeah.
just know exactly what's next. That's
Yep.
key.
Yep. Yeah. It does make the job a lot faster. It makes it a lot easier, especially when you know exactly what you have to get done and you know exactly what they have to get done. You're not, like I said, you're not riding someone's, coattail to get the job done. We're just, I've got my set of jobs, you got your set of jobs. Let's go ahead and knock it out and move on to the next one.
Exactly. And just meet up at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just get it done and get it over with and move on to the next one.
Heck yeah. So how did you start, and how did you like get into the trade? You said detailing for like a dealership. And you mentioned like, that just wasn't enough pay. So that kind of like led you into starting your own.
So, right when I graduated high school, I worked with an ex-girlfriend's parents' electrical company on Fort Bragg. So we were pulling wires like 400, 500 yards. We were wiring up like pop-up target ranges and all kinds of stuff for the military. And it was a cool job. A lot of work. You get, you're up at the, butt crack of dawn. You don't go home till the sun goes down. It's hot. You're standing in the middle of a wide open, dirt field, just hooking up, wires and stuff all day long. And it was fun. You learned a lot, but we ended up breaking up, and it just made it so awkward. Like, she would come up to the job sites and give everybody food, and she would leave me out. And it was funny, but I just decided to just try something different. So our local Volkswagen dealership, I had bought a car from them when I graduated high school, and I went in and asked if they were hiring, and I threw that on my resume, like, well, I recently bought a car from you guys, so help me out. And they put me in detail. And at first we were doing, like the courtesy washes, after a service, you bring it in, quick vacuum, quick wash. And you thought that, like, man, I'm telling you, man, when you work for a dealership, it's quick work. It's it's either sold, or it's going on the lot, or it's going to a different dealership, or if it's a customer's car. You just have to be fast, and you learn how to be a fast-paced detailer. And that's good for like dealership work. It's all fast paced. It's all, repetitive, all fast paced kind of work. So you don't get to stop and, cut and buff, you do the big stuff. So they put me on as doing like headlight restorations, where we would do like, full wet sand headlights. And then we started spraying 2K clears. And I was like, man, this just doesn't seem like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like this is like the way to do it. So we kind of progressed into doing like full buffing headlights, and that turned out a little bit better. And then we started using, either PPF to cover the headlights, or ceramic coating to cure over top the perfect lens and whatnot. But after the Volkswagen dealership, I kind of, moved to other kind of dealerships, and looking for more money, looking for better work, looking for, extending to better jobs, like bigger, cooler jobs that you can take care of. So I finally landed at a used car dealership in town, and boss was super cool guy. Awesome, man. If I needed anything, he would always help you out. If I wanted to do a side job, I always had time to do a side job. Bad part is I never had like a legit facility to actually do a detail in. I was always working in either a carport or like behind the dealership, cooking from the inside out in the carport. And eventually, I just kind of got to the point where you become stagnant, and you're just constantly doing the same work over and over and over. And you're not perfecting your skill. You're not learning anything new. You're not doing anything it doesn't seem fun anymore. So we moved to a dealership. So my boss, my wife, and he actually moved to a different dealership in town, where we started doing wheels and tires. And that kind of kicked off man, I could do something different than detailing. So I would kind of work in the detail shop, and then I would go do wheels and tires, and we would do coilovers and body kits. And it was like a custom little car shop. And it was pretty cool. we definitely enjoyed doing it. And then, once again, man, everybody else's paycheck looked so much bigger than mine. So I finally got to the point where I told the wife, I was like, look, we got to do something different. So we started up in 2019 in a little 1,000 square foot shop. We could probably fit maybe 3 cars in there on a good day. And it was hard working around that schedule though, because if you had a ceramic coat job, that would of course have to get pushed to the back of the shop. Back of the shop was a little bit crowded because we had a bathroom back there, but we also had a couch and a TV to where, if we didn't have anything going on, we could take a break. And then, I got 2 kids, that are always up at the shop hanging out after school. I got buddies who want to come by and, hey, what are you guys doing to the shop today? Any cool projects? Like, what's going on? And then eventually we just got to the point where our 5-year plan in that shop got turned into a 2-year plan. We had so many requests for, RVs, boats, semi trucks, stuff that you can't really fit in a normal size building. So I did a little bit of research, found a building that we're in now, and just decided to go ahead and just take the jump. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You just roll with the punches and see what happened. But yeah, we moved into the new shop last year. Yeah, June of last year.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I like it, man. I was looking at some of your pictures. Like, it looks like the perfect size too. Like, it's pretty massive.
It's 7,000 square foot. There's an acre and a half worth of concrete parking in the back of the shop. It's got a full parking lot up front. It's got, bathroom, break room, office, waiting room, pretty much everything we needed to like kick off that, the dream detail shop that we always had kind of envisioned for us. But at first we never really planned on getting like super huge. It just kind of happened. I honestly just thought like, man, we're gonna take in the jobs we want. We're gonna work the hours we want to. We don't have to come to work all the time. And it's honestly, man, like sometimes I miss working a 9 to 5. Sometimes I miss it. I miss being able to just, I don't feel like going to work today. I'll call in.
Yeah, 100%, man. Sometimes like, I always tell my wife, I'm like that easy, that convenience of like knowing you get off at 5 and going to work at 9. And then when you get off, the best part about it is that you don't have to think of or worry about work or the growing or anything like that.
Yeah, it is definitely a change of pace when you decide to open up your own business. Because I guess I used to hear stories about people's businesses, and we could always go back to like, I take so many vacations, I make so much more money, I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want to do it. It's kind of like, man, like I think we all want that. We all want a piece of that pie. That's kind of like, damn, we're living pretty easy now. But I'm telling you what, man, opening up a business, it's not difficult. It's nerve wracking. It'll definitely make you second guess some choices where you can be like, hey, I'll take that risk. So now it's like careful planning. Like, is the risk worth the reward? Should we do this versus this? Should we play it safe? Should we try to, do this? What if it fails, or what if it works? Or it's like a guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, if you have a good support system around you, like my wife, she's always been supportive. I got, some really good employees to where they're constantly like, let's do this, let's do that. Like it's kind of like a tight knit family up there, to where we all kind of rely on each other just to get, like, not to get jobs done, but to the point to get through the day. It's like you got to constantly have people around you that are looking to be successful versus people who just want to look and get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. And luckily all my guys and, my wife and, myself, we're always looking to make the business better, because when business is better, it turns out that everything gets better for us. The more knowledgeable everybody is, the more jobs that we can get done. Of course, the more money we can make. But of course, the more the luxuries we're, awarded at the end of the day versus, people making more money. Like, hey guys, we've been working hard. Let's take a break. Let's go on a shop vacation or something. And normally, like with the big car shows that we go to, that's normally like our shop vacation, because everybody that works for us drives a Volkswagen. So we tend to just hit up every Volkswagen meet we possibly can, like in Maggie Valley or in like Helen, Georgia, somewhere around here. It just gives us a 4 or 5 days off to where everyone can kind of regroup and relax and take a break. And
Yeah.
if my guys work hard for me, of course I'm going to work hard for them. I'm going to make sure you guys are rewarded at the end of the day. Because honestly, man, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So as long as your guys are knowledgeable, you sit there and teach them the stuff they need to know. You're open to their questions, because you obviously got to think 15 years versus 15 years of experience versus 2 years of experience. There's going to be a huge gap there. They're not going to know everything that I know, or that the wife knows, or so you got to be receptive to them learning. They're going to ask questions. They're going to mess stuff up. They're going to have to figure it out like you did. Everybody starts somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, I've had guys, like a crew of guys that would work with me, and they were awful. And the way that, like, I would go home and be stressed and worry and like my nerves would just like it was never ending, and then to function on a crew that like does like want to learn, that does have your back, like you have theirs, like it makes the day go by easier. It makes your life almost easier. It almost pushes, like we were talking about, like that 9 to 5. That's what you want. Having good guys, almost not fully, but like it almost puts you a little bit in that 9 to 5. Cause like when you work for somebody and you work that 9 to 5, you go to work, you have buddies, and it's kind of fun. And when you create your own business, it's kind of hard. It's almost like, what type of hand are you dealt? Do you have a good support system? Maybe you were not dealt that good of hand, because hiring employees can sometimes be like a ton of luck on who comes through your door.
This is a shot in the dark to hire someone who, especially nowadays with the way the economy is now. It's like, some people make more money than working. And it's like trying to get people back into the workforce is like, man, like, hold on, I make this much sitting around, or this much working hard. I'm just going to sit around and take a break. But luckily, we've gotten pretty good with kind of picking the people that we need at the shop. There's been quite a few people that have tried out, and their phones are a little bit more interesting than the job that's in front of them. So, of course you're going to run into that owning a business, or, hiring employees, or even actually like existing employees. Their temperament changes towards, being there, stuff happens and they just might not like it anymore. But luckily we haven't had much of an issue with that. But but I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt when they're when they come, because I was in that same boat, being a detailer at other dealerships, and sometimes you just it's hard to get through the day. So you gotta kind of remember, like, man, you were there once. So
yeah,
people some slack, and they'll get there. But luckily we're doing pretty good. I enjoy the people I work with. Everyone's got a pretty good attitude. Everyone's willing to learn. So far so good for us.
that's awesome. Yeah, I remember like what you were saying. Like, remember you were there once too, and like I was the guy that like I would get shit done, and like I would work hard whenever I was an employee, like, but I was going to put up that attitude, and I was going to, it didn't like that authority. And like, then on the other spectrum, like, then I own my own business. And then as I bring guys in, I'm like, man, I was that exact dude, and it's like, you don't want that, but that's who you were. And it's like, you almost have to relate to them. And it's like, give it to them in a way of like, hey man, I know what you're thinking. You don't like me telling you what to do, or whatever the case was. And I was that way as well. And like, then you start to relate with them, and then we would almost build like a weird like bond, and then it would kind of go from there. And some of them worked out, some of them didn't. But like you were saying, man, like we all were there at one point. Like, we all start as employees. And sometimes I think as the owner or the manager or whatever the case is, sometimes like relating to that person is going to be way more beneficial than just, letting it roll.
Yeah, I always had to say it. I always used to hear people talking about like being a boss, like it's a hard job, and it is absolutely. Being in charge of people that are, say, like around like the same age as you, or like, say for instance, like they're friends of yours. It's really hard to become like that boss and bark orders at friends that are there to help you. So it's kind of like there's like a certain, it's like a certain respect level that we have to reach before, like, we got to understand that, like business is business and cognac is cognac. Like we can be friends at the end of the day, and we'll always be friends, but at the same time, like, while we're at work, like, this is strictly work. Like, we have to get this stuff done, because if I don't get paid, you don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get level. We have to keep it very cut and dry here. It's got to be, you give me that 110%, and I'm going to make sure that we constantly have work for you to do. You're always going to have a job here, and we can build that family at the dealership, or at the detail shop, as same as being friends and family outside of the detail shop. But it's like the dynamic changes once you walk through the door. You have to get on task. You got to get the things done that we need to get done, because if not, we're going to be up craps paddle without up craps river without a paddle. And as far as I'm concerned, like, I love my guys, but you didn't take that risk to get here. You don't have any of the fallback like that I do. Like, because if this fails, I failed.
Mm-hmm.
We can all go get new jobs. We can always find different places to work. But I have that I failed in the back of my mind. And I'm not prepared for failing. So it's either we get it together, or bad part is we can always shed weight.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if you that's a super important topic. Like, you bringing that up is it like was like ding 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 in my head, because like most detailers and in this trade specifically, a lot of times we do go to hiring a buddy or a friend of a friend, at first, or at some part of our journey. That's kind of the direction we go. I've hired friends. I've hired the closest of closest friends throughout my time, and they don't work out generally. And it's because that level of respect. You guys were such good friends. You never talked about like work, and it was always it was a different subject that you were talking about. But now, when they're at work, you have that obligation of, you're thinking 10 years ahead. Where's my business going to be 10 years ahead? They're thinking, what am I going to eat for lunch? And it's a different mentality. And it's like, I think the way to be about it, and I didn't do this either, but and because it failed, and me and him are still friends, and me and the ones that I've hired are still buddies, just because, you can drop it and go on and not hold a grudge towards it. But, I guess what I should have done up front was just be from the very beginning, hey man, it's going to be totally different. When you come in, you're probably going to look at my personality different, just because I'm thinking totally different. I'm thinking, hey, like you said, if I fail, not only am I going to suffer like the pain of knowing that I failed, but like, now I also have this lease to, attend to, I also have this debt that came with the business, or whatever the case is. Those things they don't have to worry about. As an employee, that's kind of the benefit of that. You get your check, you show up, and you just think about work while you're there, go home and not have to think about it.
Yeah, you're on the clock. But when you own your own business, you're constantly on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't off. It don't matter if you're taking a vacation. It doesn't matter if you shut your phone off. Dude, eventually when you come back, you're going to have missed phone calls, voicemails, messages on Instagram, Facebook, Wix. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, the wife she's in charge of all these social media stuff. Me, I'm computer illiterate. It was hard enough for me to get on the Zoom chat with you, but she is great at what she does. She is, dude, I'm telling you, the edits that she pulls off, the photos that she takes, the lighting, the everything. I'm telling you, man, my business would not be what it is without her. Because she complements what I don't have. I complement what she doesn't have. It's like I said before, like, we're tandem. We work as a team. She knows what I lack. I know what she lacks. I know what she excels at. She knows what I excel at. So when it comes to like hiring friends, like, yeah, we've been friends before this, but it's like when you're at work, you're in a different mindset. Like we're not friends. It's like I have to be in charge of everything that happens here, and if I'm not, it's either chaos or, you know, I don't know what could happen, but I just know that I'm not ready to fail. And I'm hoping to God that the people that I bring in or the people that I hire, that you guys aren't ready to fail either. Because if if you stick around for a long time, you're gonna learn everything that I know and more. And that's all I can offer you is just like in the long run, we're gonna get to where we have to go. And I hope to God I can bring you guys with me. Because like I said, at the end of the day, I'm relying on you guys to essentially help make me money. So therefore, if you can be with me in the slow times or the the weak times, then I hope I can bring you guys with me during like the successful times and the strong times where I know that, these are my go-to people. I can count on you guys to get it done. Like I know what everyone's strong at. I know what everyone's weak at. So I can build a business off of having trusting people and working for you. Like you can build a multi-million billion-dollar corporation if long as you have that foundation with good people. Man, you can take a detail shop anywhere. You can definitely get.
And it all comes down to those team members, man. Like, you can only go so far in this trade alone. Like it literally caps out. It's you can only make, even if you're charging the most amount of money per car, but if you're solo, like it only goes so far, and you can only scale so long because your body can only take so much, so like when you have a good team, like you were saying, like your goal is to make money. Like your goal is for them to make you more money, but in return, like a good business owner would have that intention of, hey, that part of that money is pushing it towards you as well. Like, hey, once we grow, it's like, I want you in this spot. You're going to make this much more once we get to this level. And it's almost like and it sucks to look at it this way, but like they're banking on your vision, and it's like, if you can hype them up and gas them up with that vision enough, they're on board, so it's almost like I noticed within my guys, I would constantly be spilling the vision. It's like, hey, I can't wait to get to this level. How we're going to get there is you do this, I do this, and you do this. And then with time we'll be there. And then once we get there, I want you to make this,
Yeah. I talk to my guys about like, I'm 30, about to be 33 years old. So I grew up in a different era than the guys that I have. And I kind of equate to them. I was like, look, man, I'm trying to build a Megazord. Like, yeah, we're awesome by ourselves. Like we're pretty badass by ourselves, but dude, I'm trying to build that Megazord. Like I'm trying to bring all the good people together, build that one gnarly robot that they can demolish anything. And that's kind of like what it's like the goal is like, you just want your business to go. I want my business to go further than I ever thought, because at this point, like you have to be like your own role model. You have to be who you want to be in 10 years. I want to think of myself at 10 years later, like, what kind of business I have, the people I have around me, the amount of money we're making. And I want to, every time I think about that, I want to supersede that. I want to go past that. I want to take it further than I ever thought I could. Because honestly, I never thought I'd be in the position I am in now. I thought working in a carport was going to be the best that I could ever get at detailing. I'm not going to go any further. Like before, I didn't even know what paint correction and ceramic coating was. All I knew was, dang, I got to clean the dirtiest car on the lot today. It's hot. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Like, man, like I'd rather, I'm quitting. Like I'm done. I'm gonna go find a different job. But I'm lucky. I'm happy I stayed with it, because it's like, people just find what they're good at. And I guess I'm just good at detailing. Like
it's great.
I've got, my wife is like super OCD. I got another guy who's super OCD. So man, the shop is constantly clean. The cars are amazing. It's just like everybody at the shop is kind of, it's like one fluid motion. everyone kind of understands each other. Everyone gets what we got to get done. And I couldn't ask for a better team, to be honest with you. It's like, and hopefully we get to the point where, we're branching out, we're opening up other locations, and, we're bringing more people on. But some advice to people who are starting out is like, just don't bite off more than you can chew in the beginning. Start simple. Like you said before, you can only go as far as you can as being like a one man band. It's hard to play every instrument perfect if you're trying to just do it by yourself, in which you have to be receptive and open towards what other people can bring to the table. Like when it comes to the wife doing the online stuff, I know that I can't do that. So when I rely on her to do something like that, when her time is caught up with doing, internet stuff, that I know that I have to push my time towards something else where I can accommodate her time is doing internet and my time is doing like face-to-face type stuff. Because I'm the only one that talks to customers. I'm the only one that answers the phone. I answer all the emails and the messages. And, it's kind of like I just a well-oiled machine, because like I said, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if, squeaky wheel gets to grease, if I'm constantly paying attention to just one thing, you lose focus on everything else. And it's tough to bounce back after that, after you lose focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. And it's like when you're first starting, because I was kind of in the same boat, like your story is so similar to mine. Like I didn't start with a dealership, but I started with like a really small town detailer. Like he was, maybe $60 per car, and it was anybody got the works, and it was kind of that direction. And I made $7 an hour, and minimum wage was $7.25 at the time, but it was $7 cash per hour. And like, just taught the wrong things, but working long hours, working hard. And it's kind of like, what is going to make you the one who's going to start their own? Because there's a lot of detailers who will stay employees or choose to do something else. And it was kind of the same as you. Like, I didn't see myself doing anything else. I went to the Navy for a bit and then got out and was like, detailing was still on my mind. It was like, man, now, and that's kind of what I guess I kind of had a break, was like the 4 years of going to the Navy. And then that was kind of like the time that I needed to say, hey, okay, now I want to do this as my own and not work for somebody. But it was still that risk. You taking that risk is what kind of either makes you an employee or makes you're the owner, and but it was never, at first it was like, man, how am I going to do this alone? I'm going to have the biggest detail shop ever, but I'm going to be alone. And it's like, you have to start thinking, how am I going to start building my team so that I can now, like you were saying, your wife she's a piece of that puzzle that you're not good at. So it kind of fills that void. And that's how everybody should be thinking. It's like, hey, how can I hire someone smarter than me or have someone on my team smarter than me in that area? And that's honestly how successful people become as big as they are. It's filling those voids.
I try to tell my guys, like, if in which it's kind of like these old sayings, like you hear as a kid, they sound so cliche. It's like, doesn't matter. Like successful people stick around successful people. In which I never equated that to like being a business owner, because when you open up a business, the only thing you ever want is to be successful. That's the reason why you open the business. You didn't open it to have a fun time. Like I opened it to make money because I was sick and tired of not making any money. So it's like, there's a couple other guys in town that are a lot younger than I am. And, sometimes they call for advice and whatnot and try to figure out how to get things done. And, I just tell them, like, look, it's baby steps, man. Like you have to start off small. Don't take on more than you can handle, because you don't want to jump, out of the frying pan and into the fire. You have to kind of take one step at a time. You have to figure out what best works for you. And I've met a couple of guys who are just one man bands, and they do a great job. There's quite a few mobile guys in town who do amazing work, but I try to tell people that mobile guys are built different than stationary guys. Like shop guys are different. We can spend, 3, 4, 5 days on a paint correction and ceramic coat versus a mobile guy. Not many mobile guys are offering paint corrections and ceramic coatings because you just don't have enough time with the car. So I try to tell my guys, like, no matter what route you take after it's all said and done here, if you want to open up your own shop, I'll back you 110%, you know, because that's exactly what I did. And it's all about having that support system. It's like, you know what, hey man, we believe in you. Anything you need, we'll help you. So I try my best to help out all the other detailers in town. If you need anything, I might have it. Give me a call. You know, if you need some advice, if you need some help, I'm always open, you know, but you know, some people are just really good at mobile and some people are really good at stationary.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect everybody in the business. There's no competition. We're friends. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to, there's plenty of people in the world. I'm not taking customers from anybody. I hope you don't take customers from me. Let's just, let's bank off of each other. Let's work with each other instead of against each other. Let's all help each other out. It's a huge detail family. I don't see, I don't see how people get so worked up over like, I want to be the best detailer. Like everybody wants to be the best, but do you have what it takes to be the best? Are you that kind of person that's going to be the best person for being the best detailer? Are you cool with all the other detailers in town, or do you just want to you know, go past everybody and leave everybody in the dirt and be like, oh, you guys were trash anyway. Like, I don't care about other detailers. Like, man, let's all be friends.
I want to take a moment really quick and tell you about the detail community. You know, us detailers, when we first start our business, we want two things generally. And the first one is we want to show our clients or our area how talented we really are. We want to show off our skill set at this trade. And number two, we want to create some wealth for ourselves. We want to create a version of financially free, you know, and that version can mean many different things for everybody. You know, maybe it's to buy your first house, or maybe it's to buy a bigger house. Maybe it's to buy that dream car you've always wanted, or it could mean, you know, taking more vacations throughout the year, taking some time off throughout the year and be able to afford that. The detail community helps you level up your detailing business faster so that you can do these things, so that you can become whatever your version of financially free is. This gives you as the detailer all of the resources you need to level up your detailing business faster so that you can work less and make more. You will be able to utilize some of the systems and strategies that some of the biggest detailing companies in the world are utilizing in their business so that you can work with more desirable clients and work on more desirable vehicles. Another cool part is you have access to a community of other members that are already inside. So these are going to be other like-minded and ambitious detailers that you can come learn, connect, and level up with. Become a member today and get your first 30 days for only $1. So you can literally try this out for only $1. So this is what some of the members inside of the detail community are talking about, what they're saying about this. So we've got Evan. He says each lesson alone is worth $27. That's how valuable this content is. I sold my first few coding jobs recently. Clients were happy and actually made good money. This year is going to be big for my business. So an introduction here. What's up, detail community? I am Tim with Sharper Image Detailing. Been detailing since 2013, but started the business in 2020 full time. I look forward to the progress of the community and learning as much as I can and also giving what I now know. We hired our first employee this year, which is super exciting, but also a lot of work to train on our process. I'm excited about this journey and getting to know other like-minded people. So Tim's super excited to be here, and he has a lot to share and learn with people a part of the community. So Marvin here, he's a ceramic pro elite dealer in Nashville. If you are looking for the best kept secrets, then this is for you. The detail community is helpful for detailers at all levels. So on the share your wins section of the community forums inside of the detail community, this was one of the big wins someone shared with us. And it said, I watched a couple of the lessons and the way I look at things is different now. I was doing things totally wrong. I am working on changing up my business now. I have already decided I'm going to make my business model more high end. And I've already got one client on the schedule for ceramic coating service for $900 and I took a deposit. So look at it this way. You get your first 30 days for $1, and then after that, it's only $27 a month. They just booked a $900 service from one of the lessons that they learned inside. So their community membership is paid for a long time. So one lesson got them a $900 appointment booked. So they implemented what was taught from some of the resources that are inside of the detail community, and they were able to book a $900 service. So it's huge. You make your money back on this like crazy. So 2022, here's another share your wins. 2022 is shaping up to be a big year for me. I'm on track to making close to six figures this year. If my projections are correct, I never anticipated this, especially only in my second year of operation and still not being 100% full time. That will be my conversation with my boss in the next couple of days. I landed 3 wholesale accounts in the last 2 weeks, of all which have tons of work for me. It has me to a point to where I think I can be in my shop every day and still have plenty of work left over. I may even consider hiring a part-time employee. I'm excited what is to come in 2022. So this is Ryan. He actually did quit his job and is now detailing full time. So after only 2 years of being in business, he's on track to do 6 figures. So huge wins inside of the detail community. Here's some more. Trying to get through the content, but there's so many golden nuggets, dude. I'm taking some notes. And then he also said, dude, that direct mail training is super clutch. Didn't even think about that idea. Pure gold, man. So people are loving what is included inside of the detail community, and you can have access to that as well. If you join today, you get your first 30 days for only $1. After that, you get a founding member rate of only $27 a month, and it's going to teach you how to really level up your business and have success like some of the other members inside have had. So go ahead and join today. It's thedetailcommunity.com/join. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, the link will be in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link will be in the description. And I cannot wait to see you guys inside and just really get to connect with you guys and watch your businesses level up.
It's all work together.
I love that that's that North Carolina. That's that I don't even know what word to use for it, but y'all are some good people in North Carolina.
Southern hospitality.
Yes.
I want to be nice to everybody.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
Cause like, and you're so right. Like it's like that. I've saw it in my area. It's like, you got guys that like literally you could be just starting and you can tell it's like, hey, I'm pinpointing you now. It's, and it's like, yo, man, I'm just a little guy right now, and it's
dudes will target these little detail shops and they will try to run them into the dirt.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a territory type thing. Like, dude, look, I love my job, but dude, we're cleaning cars, man. It's not that serious. Like, we're not, of course, everybody wants, the big shop, they want to do the big jobs. You want to do like the expensive cars, and yeah, but dude, there's more average cars on the road than expensive cars. So trust me, man, if you're only getting into it for the Lamborghinis, Porsches, Bentleys, like, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Like, you got to understand, I don't care if you roll in the shop in a Ford Pinto or a Lamborghini. I'm going to treat both of them as a paying customer. You're spending your hard-earned money with me. You're trusting me to get a job done. So therefore, I have to put everything that I have on the line to make sure I hit the mark on everything that you need. It doesn't matter if it's getting a basic, a full. I don't care if it's coming here for the works. We're going to hit the point to where you're happy and you're going to tell everybody about us. And I hope that, any job that I can't get to, I kick them to the best people that I know of, whether it be a mobile guy or a stationary guy. I want everyone to succeed, man. Don't ever put yourself in front of other people because you want to be front in line. You want to be the first in line. Like, look, everybody wants to be successful, but don't step over the small people road to becoming successful. Everybody plays a part in this. We're all in it together in a sense. Where, if I can't get to something, I hope that I can give it to somebody else and that they can make them some money. Or if they can't get to it, and I'm, I got a slow day, I'm hoping somebody might kick me something, and let's just help each other out, man. It's too competitive when it doesn't need to be. We're I don't know. I've seen detailing get very selfish over the years, where it's like, I just want the big stuff and you guys can have the little stuff. That's not fair, man.
Yeah,
everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it is like that. And honestly, it comes down to, and I always like insult this trade just because I'm in it. So it's like kind of making fun of myself, but like it's a low point of entry. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have, you could have dropped out at sixth grade and you could be a detailer and own a detailing business, and that comes with a lot of that douchiness. Now you have people who, has success in this industry. And then it's like, hey, I'm only going to be here and I don't care who I hurt to get there. And,
Yeah.
so, but just because they've never been there before. So it's like, and this industry is full of them. There's a lot of toxicity here in every area has them. Some cities you may get lucky in like being North Carolina where everybody's cool with everybody, but a lot of cities, they function like, hey, um, I want all the cars, I want all customers, I want all the leads. But when you really think about it, man, drive down the interstate and how many cars do you pass until you get to your destination? How many average cars? It's nuts, man. Yeah, and imagine if all of those knew about ceramic coating and detailing, and it's like, dude, even if only 5 of those, or even if only a third of those cars even care about, getting that service performed, dude, there's still enough on the table for everybody to eat.
Yeah, trust me, man, there's enough seats at the dinner table for all of us to be able to eat. And I sure as hell am not going to, like, if someone just started, I'm not going to sit there and look at you like you're smaller than I am. I was where you were. I've gotten to the point where I'm at now, with respecting other people and helping other people and getting other people to where they need to be. Like sometimes sometimes I feel like I don't give myself as much as I give other people. Like I'll be willing to help everybody else out versus, you know, giving, myself a break and just saying like, you know what, man, y'all just deal with it on your own. I'm going to care about myself today. You know, I'm just, man, the world is the way it is now because people are just so damn hateful towards each other. And it doesn't matter what you're in, man. Sports, you could be in a car salesman. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. There's always going to be somebody out there that knows a little bit more than you. And one day you might need that person's advice. So therefore, like, kind of like, you know, pave that righteous way for everybody else to kind of follow. And, just be respectful towards people, man. I mean, we're all just trying to make money. We're all just trying to get by in the world. So, I mean, it ain't going to help you to be a dick to anybody.
Yeah. And it's like you have, like, look at your brand, for instance. Like, your brand is really good. Like, and I, when you first started, was it as good as it is now? It was probably, yeah, exactly. Like it's
taking trash photos of cars. I had no lighting. I never knew that when you take a sideways picture of a panel, it always looks glossy, no matter how dirty the car is. It's just, I want people to be righteous in this business. Like, tell the truth, be transparent with your customers, give them a realistic expectation of what they're going to get. Don't sugarcoat it for people. Just be an honest person, be an honest detailer. Let people know, like, hey, this service that you're getting right now, it might not do this for what you think it might. Or, like, hey, like, every once in a while, like, hey, I know this customer only paid this much for this, but I know that I can get this out in 10 minutes at like barely any extra charge. Just do it. You go that extra mile for people to go that extra mile for you, or they don't. And you're kind of up, you're kind of screwed at that point. But at the same time too, though, you use your skills for something good. Like, like Peter Parker, great responsibility, or, great power comes great responsibility. Okay, yeah, we're detailers, man. But at the same time too, though, we do change people's vehicles to the point where now, like, I've had so many people come in and be like, hey, I'm gonna sell the car. I just want it cleaned up real quick so we can just get it done. Like, had this car forever, but it's time for me to get rid of it. And by the time we get done with it, people are like, damn, I might not even sell it now. It looks like it did when I first bought it. It looks better than when I first bought it. Like, we're magic, man. We perform, tricks of the utmost greater proportions in the world. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit because like you said before, like anybody can start detailing, but it doesn't mean that you can't be knowledgeable about what you're doing. It doesn't mean you can't be successful. Like my dad always told me, like, he's like, son, I don't care what you do, but just be the best at it, regardless of whatever you're doing. If you're shoveling poop at the circus, be the best shit shoveler anyone's ever seen. Like, all right, man, good advice. Just be the person you always wanted to be. Be successful, be honest, be righteous, man, because at the end of the day, man, you're only as good as your word. And if you're a dick, man, people just don't like you. I just want everyone to be nice to each other.
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's like you were saying, like, you like when a customer comes in and they give you that satisfaction, like, you know, not all customers will react that way. They may react that way on the inside, but like that's kind of what we live for. Like that is our highlight of our day, is when they pick up. And if that doesn't give you joy, then maybe someone's in the wrong industry if that part of the day doesn't. You know, because like when a customer comes in and they're like, and they say things like that, and every detailer's probably heard that to some extent, like, man, I might keep the car now, or wow, it looks better than when I bought it. You know, like those things, like that shit hits you inside.
It's the reassurance that you're good at what you're doing. Like, and you know, everybody, even as kids, man, you want that little bit of like, you know, you go in the bedroom and clean your room. The first person you're going to show is your parents. You're like, hey, come look at my room. Look what I did. And all you want to do is you just want your parents to say, like, yeah, looks good. Good job. Congratulations. Like, you know, everybody wants that little bit of you know, that pat on the back at the end of the day that shows you put in the effort. You know, you earned your sleep at the end of the night.
Yeah.
You know, earn it, man. Like, work hard. At the end of the day, it's up to you, man. You gotta work hard for the things you want, because they're not going to fall in your lap. You got to bust your ass to get where you want to be. And I think with this new generation, people just think that it's supercars and luxury cars and all this other crap. Like, dude, you're going to get that Toyota Camry that's got some baby. It's just something you're going to have to get used to, dude. Like, trust me, like you're going to have to do the bad ones to get to the good ones, man. It's just kind of like stepping stones. You got to earn your keep in this industry. You got to definitely crawl through the trenches to get the good jobs and say, like, hey, man, I just did a Bentley Arnage or a Lamborghini Huracan or something like that, man. Like, those jobs they're not every day. Shit, they might have one of them jobs once a year if you're lucky.
And enjoy them, you know, like enjoy them when they're in. But like, and one of my big things that I think some people may take it the wrong way is, like, I always say, advertise what you want, but like, that doesn't mean you can't detail those minivans, you know, like those are still you still need money. You still need to put food on your table. And it's like, you know, still detail them, maybe not post them and not advertise that that's what your specialty is, just because like maybe you want less of those, but you know, you can still do those and you still need those. And honestly, some of those big shops that, because of this right here, phones that, you know, now you have social media that just glorifies what people are doing.
Everybody will show you the good part on social, never show you the bad things on social media. They never show you when like you have like a slow week, and then you're like, oh shit, like how the hell am I going to pay? Like if it keeps going this way, how am I going to pay the light bill? How am I going to keep the lights on in the shop?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to show off the cool things, but nobody ever wants to show off like the hard stuff that gets you to where you have to get. Like, honestly, man, I told my guys the other day, we were doing we had to slam pack like 3 paint corrections in last week, and it was going to be tough. Like we were going to hit that wire. And one of my guys called me over because they're working on a set of seats that was like it's kind of like the FJ Cruiser type seats, like the neoprene here, like that weird, like,
they suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. But he called me over there because he didn't know exactly what to do. And honestly, I looked at him, I was like, dude, I am so jealous of you guys right now. I would do anything to be on fucking just beat interior, because I know that those are so easy. I know that I can get it done. I know that I don't have to stress about it. There's no like working towards the wire and trying to like get 3 cars done mashed together in like one day. And they were like, man, we wish we could do paint corrections. Like, trust me, no, you don't. Don't. You, I'm telling you, man, when you go higher up in the business, it's way more difficult. Like, you just wish, like I said, like, sometimes I wish I want to go back to the 9 to 5. Shit, sometimes I wish I can just go back to doing interiors and exteriors.
Dude, 100%. Like, and with paint corrections, the variable gap between it, like every car is going to be different. Every car has different paint. Every car has different defects. So it's so easy to say, I'll jam 3 in one day. Like, best case scenario, it could get them done, but like, it's so hard to judge and to be the one to make that judgment on. And but what, like what you said before, it's because last week may have been so slow that your mind was racing. Like, what if every day is like this? Because that's what it does to you. When you have a slow week, that's what's not being shown. Because like, what it does to me whenever I have a slow week, it's like, man, what if like, every week going forward is always going to be like this? What if this is the turning point of me going out of business? Now I can't pay my guys. Now I can't pay my overhead, and it drains you. So now you're like, when you do have those leads coming in, you're like, hell yeah, I'll get them all in one day so that, tomorrow.
You get this, your eyes are bigger than your stomach type mentality.
Yep.
You eat way too much on your plate. And the next thing you know, you're panicking and you're rushing to get stuff done. And I tell people, when you're rushing, you're missing. If you're rushing a job, trust me, you are missing so much more than you think you're missing. Mm-hmm. And it's always those spots where you think are going to be hidden from the customer are the first places that they go to look. Stupid. You're standing in front of a customer trying to wonder, like, damn, like what excuse can I tell this customer on how blatant I missed this spot when it's right in front of me? So like, I try to tell everyone, like, look, find a steady pace. Make sure, like, do double, triple, quadruple check before you even say you are done. Don't say you're done until the customer picks up. You are not done until they've paid and they're gone. And then sometimes even after that, you might get a phone call and be like, hey, shit, okay, I wasn't done. Damn. Like, all right. It's a fickle business, man. Like, sometimes you get people that come in that just don't care about the result. And sometimes you get people that come in and it's the only thing they care about is the result of how that car looks. So for me, it's kind of like the people you think you might have a problem of out of are the people who are the most receptive towards the job you did. And it's the people that are laid back and chill. It's kind of like, those are the people that care the most. Mm-hmm. But it's in your mind, it's like, it's completely backwards. Like, this person, it gave me such a hard time on drop off and such an easy time picking up, and vice versa. So like, I tell people, every customer is like a car. Every car is different. Every customer is different. You can't just, expect every customer to be elated when they come and pick up their car. Even though you did the greatest job in the world, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that affirmation at the end of the day. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that pat on the back. But you do the best that you can with what they're paying, their budget, or you do the best with whatever tools you have. In which I understand that, like, some smaller shops, they don't have those big, mighty extractors and, Rupes and, all these other big name brands. Like, you might be like, shit, I started off with a Porter cable doing paint corrections, and I still have that same Porter cable. And that is still my trusty go-to polisher when I need to get something done fast and efficient. I know that I can trust that machine and I can get the job done. It's kind of like, I tell my guys, it's kind of like driving. Like, everyone has their own style of driving. Everyone's going to learn their own style of detailing. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me. And I tell my guys, you need to learn the basics, but then you have to kind of figure out where those basics are going to lead you. I will tell you everything that I've learned. I'll teach you everything that I know. But just because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to pick up on that and it's going to work for you too. I've got one guy who's completely different than I am. Like, he does everything backwards than what I do. But at the end of the day, his jobs are on point. And I can't sit here and say he's wrong because it's working. So therefore it's kind of like I said, you have to work off of each other. You have to kind of figure out who's better at certain things. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, we feed off of each other and we can get things done a lot better than just me barking orders at people and telling people this is how it needs to be done. I don't care if you want to do it different. You have to do it this way. That's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. I always used to tell people, or like the old boss I worked for, I always used to tell them there's a difference between a boss and a leader. A boss is going to sit over here and bark orders at you and just expect at the end of the day, everything's going to be done right. But a leader is going to get down there with you and we're going to make sure everything's done right. Like, I'll trust me, like, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself or I haven't done before, especially when it comes to, like, God forbid, like human stuff left over or animals or whatever it may be, man. If your guys are hesitant and therefore then that means the job's not going to be done right. So you jump down there, you show them how to get it done. And when they see the owner of a business, you know, busting his ass too, it gives them that push to be like, okay, all right, I can do this. I can get it done. And I think that's the best way to run a business is you got to treat everybody, you know, with the same respect you expect, you know, all respect each other and we get the job done and it gets done right.
Yeah. And that like with that, it's like, you wish you could go back in time and like show them visually that car that like you're like, man, I've been there. I've did this one that was 10 times as dirty. You know, I did this one and like, you know, biohazards are kind of the one that I would go with as an example. It's like, you know, and they're like, man, I really don't want to do this. But I'm like, dude, if I could just show you this one that like I did 5 years ago, you would look at this one and be like, okay, yeah, I got it, you know, but you can't. It's like, you can't show them and they don't know that, but it's like, I've been there. I've done that, bro. Trust me, just because I'm not the one working on this car, like I've paid my dues in it, but here, let me show you how to do it really quick. I'll do like this panel on it.
Yeah. Like, we kind of like joke around at the shop where like it's like a 1 to 10 scale, and like sometimes we get cars in that are, man, like I'm confused at why customers would pay for like a high dollar package, but it doesn't need high dollar work. So therefore, it's kind of like, okay, but then you got people who come in with like, say, mold, mildew, you know, roaches crawling around in the car, and then they're like, yeah, I just want a quick interior. Like, it's not going to help, but all right, we'll do it. But then it's like, you know, I tell my guys, like, don't put yourself on a mindset of like, this car's easy. Cause once you say it's easy, you're not working efficiently to get it done. You've basically given yourself like a mental break. Like, it's easy. I don't have to work too hard on it. I'll have it done. You know, when you tell yourself that you're basically, you're speeding up the treadmill, but you're only running so fast. You're not pushing yourself. You're not going as far as you need to. So sometimes, man, when they get that level 10 car that's trash, and I'm talking about like seats have to come out, carpet, you might as well pull the carpet out. Like, hell, who knows how to pull a headliner down? Like, we might as well just take the whole interior apart to get it done. And then they look at us and they're like, dude, these are terrible. Like, I don't like, how can we get this done? Like, dude, I've done those. I've worked 2-3 days on interiors to get them done, to get them perfect, to get them back to brand new. And yeah, it sucks. It's a hard job, but those hard jobs make it so much simpler for the easier jobs that come in. It makes it so much more rewarding when car rolls through the shop and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. Yeah. But you just get the job done and just keep on moving forward. But I'm telling you, man, we've had quite a few biohazard jobs. And the last one we had, I mean, full PPE, everything, respirator, goggles, like, I mean, gloves, three times the amount of gloves you should have on, you know, 3 pairs of gloves on, and you still smell it. It's everywhere. The shop smells for like 2-3 weeks afterwards. And then it's like, the guys are like, oh man, it's got mold, or like it's got like a whole hot dog underneath the seat. Like, dude, did you not see what we just did? Like, it was terrible. So yeah, like I said though, man, the guys are learning, they're getting there. I don't want to scare them off by having them do like a biohazard car yet, but they've seen us do them. Like, I had one of my guys wanted to jump in, and I gave him all the rules and regulations on a biohazard, proper PPE, make sure you're constantly, don't touch anything afterwards, wear your respirator, don't touch your respirator afterwards. Like, well, we had like a huge plan. And after we got done, he looked at me and said, I'm never doing that again. I was like, look, well, at least you got it out of your system. You figured it out, and you know that these are not fun jobs, man. Like and out of respect for the customers, we never post any of the like biohazard jobs or anything like that. We keep those under wraps. I just want the customer to be happy with them. We don't want to boast about anything that comes through the shop that might be personal to somebody or stuff like that. So we're super respectful. And a couple of my guys, they wanted to take photos of the car when it first rolled in. Like, look, just put your phones down. Let's just get the job done. Let's there's certain levels of let's be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it on a professional level and get the job done as fast as we can, right. And, let this person go on about it. And, hopefully they don't have to, relive stuff like that again. Cause we've had a couple cars that honestly, man, like if it was mine, that thing would have went to the crusher and I would have just forgotten the car. Like, let it go. But there's some people that hold on to stuff like that and I respect them for it, but
yeah,
we try our best to, just be as professional as possible. And, leave stuff off social media. Not everything needs to be posted.
Mm-hmm.
We got enough work to go around where you can post some cars and just keep people's personal lives off of social media.
I know it. And like what it does is when those cars come in, it gives your guys like something to gauge. Like, hey, that was the worst. Now you've got a 4 out of 10. And if that 4 out of 10, like is what you would normally consider dirty, now it ain't so dirty, it's
like their 4 out of 10 was their 10 out of 10. Now and now you're going to drop it down. You're like, you know what? This one's not so bad. I can get this one done. Like this is normal. Mm-hmm. Like, and detailer, you see some crazy stuff in some cars, man. Like I remember when I was working at the detail, like at my old detail shop in the carport, but we had a exotic dancer come through, and that was good Lord, a weird car. I was like, look, I called her and I was like, look, you've got to come through here and pick up all this stuff out of this car before I'll even touch it. We're not around these things. We're gonna remove them, and I'm not gonna be the one that removes them. Yeah, that one was weird.
It's crazy, man. The amount of stuff that you really do find sometimes, like, and it's like a once in a blue moon type of thing, but you'll pull one center console and you're like, whoop, not going in there.
Yeah, we're not going to touch that. Or like, it's like, I love it when the customers leave like hundreds of dollars sitting in the console.
Oh yeah.
Like, we get it. We get it, but we're not going to take it.
You just accidentally left $300. You're like, come on.
Accidentally left a Rolex in their console.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. I tell my guys, like, none of that's ever worth your job, man. None of that's ever worth your self-respect at the end of the day and which, I mean, shit, 90% of the time they could have accidentally left it in there, but everywhere my mind goes for being in the industry for so long, that's a bait.
There's a hidden camera somewhere.
They could leave $100 there and you take $1, you're screwed. Like, just, man, you keep your hands to yourself, finish your job and move on. But the detailing world, it's a funny place, man. I just hear like the different stories that people go through, like what kind of jobs they do. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I just wish everyone would kind of just, just take a step back and just figure out, just like industries change over the years. And like, like the older guys that have the wisdom, that have the knowledge, slowly they get pushed out because the younger generation comes in. There's in the detail industry, there's so many things that are constantly changing: pads, compounds, interior cleaners, exterior cleaners, whatever it may be. Everything's constantly changing. So a lot of people, especially like older detailers, they stick with like a certain brand or they stick with like a certain method or something like that. I just wish everyone would be respectful of the fact that these old heads, these older guys, like they had it harder than we did. Like over there, Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off type. And we're over here with like machines doing bulk of the work for us. The only thing we got to do is just hold it there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just, everything's going to evolve. Everything's going to change. Just don't be so standoffish to the old school way versus the new school way. Like, and like my wife is super knowledgeable about all the cool new stuff that comes out. And like, I'm kind of turning into that old guy where like, no, that's not going to work. But next thing you know, it's like, she orders it and shows me, and I'm like, man, that worked so much faster. Like, because like when I first started detailing, like I had the Porter cable, and then I had a DeWalt high speed, and I learned how to do paint corrections on a DeWalt high speed. And high speed it's a method that no one really uses anymore, because like all these awesome cut pads and all these compounds, and the millie that acts like a forced rotation machine, and like a high speed. And man, it's like every once in a while my wife looks at me, she's like, you're gonna have to break out the high speed. I'm like, I want to pull the high speed out. High speed. I'd rather sit here and do 9 passes a cut than 1 pass of scary, high speed. Let's stay away from the high speed. And then like the guys at the shop are always like, what's that big one in the corner? And like when they first started, I'm like, we don't talk about that, man. We
retired that one.
We don't ever want to bring that when we got to bring that one down, just because the job needs it. And trust me, I try my best to stay away from wool. I hate wool. It goes everywhere. It's a mess. I can't stand the high speed, but like I said, I learned on it, so I know how to use it. I just hate using it. Like that one tool in your toolbox that I hate using that tool, man.
Yeah.
You just know it's such a scary machine that you think like, oh, something, like what can go wrong will go wrong. It's like, yeah, I really don't want to chance it.
That's the same thing I actually learned on, was a DeWalt rotary and a Porter cable jitter buffer. Those were the 2 that I learned on. And I can't tell you that like when I learned with that rotary that those cars didn't leave with holograms or not, just because I didn't know what I was looking for back then. But you get better as you go. And like the era that we live in this industry is the best for everybody. Like now, think about the old heads back then. You had the buff and wax, that term. It's like they used a rotary for everything and had to wax everything and could only charge $60 for it, and then like, it's like now we have coatings, now we have dual action polishers that you don't have to be scared from. It's like we live in the best era.
Yeah, I tell my guys, like, if you mess up a polish with the dual action, like there's
get out of it.
Get out of the point. But yeah, I mean, all they're slowly learning like all the cool tricks of the trade, like working with a polisher, whether it be the the dual action or the random, or even like I got a guy who's trying to learn the high speed on headlights now to try to buff out some headlights, in which he's doing good. But you can tell like using just like a random orbital versus a high speed, it's like a bicycle compared to like a jet. It's just different aspects of just one industry. It's just wild.
That is it for this episode of the Detail Spot podcast. I hope you enjoyed it like I did. I loved hanging out with Eric and, really just getting to hear his journey and seeing how he got to where he is today. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, again, if you can, drop us a review if you're enjoying the content that's coming from this podcast. It's going to greatly help us grow. And if you guys ever have any questions, ever need any help, or just want to run an idea by somebody, shoot me a message on social media. I'd love to help you in any way I can. And if it's a topic that I am not a subject matter expert in, I'll make sure to find someone who is, to get you that help and to get you that support. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And that's what this is for, is to help detailers level up, week by week and step by step, so that you can have the things that you want from your detailing business, and you can have that freedom or that, financial wealth, whatever the case is, whatever your personal goals are. My goal is to try to help you fulfill those. So if you ever have any questions or need any help, shoot me a message. I'll be glad to help in any way way I can. And make sure to stay tuned for the next episode of the Detail Spot podcast.